So yes, we've all heard the news, it's been out for a while now, but Smash Bros. Is indeed coming to Switch, and everybody lost their mind. You would think not so much, because every Nintendo console for quite a while has had a Smash Bros. Game, but nope. Myself included, I lost my mind too. So you know what that means, we are now part of the Smash hype train once again, and during these rides, I've never really been a huge fan of all the rumor and speculation nonsense. That's not really my thing. However, discussions about what characters have a chance to show up in the game, that excites me a whole lot. The trailers that were made for Smash 4 were so well done, often creating new scenes using the style from the game that the character initially came from, which was really sweet. However, when I think about it, I think I was more of a fan of how Brawl handled the hype. Every day a brand new update would show up on the Smash Bros. Dojo, and if that Challenger Approaching banner appeared, oh boy, I totally had something to talk about at school that day. And if you couldn't tell by now, I'm a bit of a huge Nintendo fanboy, and I love that Smash Bros. Has the potential to take characters from the entire company's history and just throw them in the game. It's pretty awesome, and you're gonna see with this list that there are some characters that you would expect and some characters that you won't, but I managed to come up with 10. I've wasted too much time as it is. You want to see the characters, I want to talk about the characters, let's dive into it. Alright, so if you've been following my channel for a while, you saw this one coming. Lately, Kirby has a new best friend in Bandana Waddle Dee, and with how big of a franchise Kirby is to Nintendo, and considering they just can't stop making games like every year, I think it's time that we get some extra series representation in Smash. If you've ever played as the bandana donning puff of I'm really not sure, but he is cute though, then his moveset would be pretty obvious. He rocks a spear at all times, and already has a full moveset for each direction of the analog stick. So yeah, it would be pretty clear how he's gonna play. As for his final smash though, I don't know, maybe trapping people in like paint squares a la Rainbow Curse? I don't know, I'm really stretching with that one. Basically, it is the only Kirby character here that makes sense, so if they add anybody, it's gonna be this cute thing. He doesn't have a mouth. How does he function without a mouth? Similar to Bandana Dee and Kirby, it is finally time for more Metroid representation. And no, it's not gonna be Ridley. I will say I am part of the he is too big party. Please, let's not start this war back up again. Dark Samus would be a perfect fit for Smash, since not only would that still fit the quota of having another playable antagonist, but she would play quite differently than how the regular Samus plays, with a heavy reliance on phase-on powers, while standard Samus just sticks to the moves that she's been using her entire existence. And considering that canonically, she is a reincarnation of Metroid Prime itself, and we do have another game of that named series coming at some point down the pipeline, the timing would just make a whole lot of sense. Hell, if Dark Pit can get into the game and he is the pure definition of a clone, but Sakurai, oh, it's his boy, he just had to put him in the game, then yeah, Dark Samus can damn sure make it into. So I understand that going into this there is a really strong chance this won't happen, but I don't care! The Wonderful 101 is so damn good, and if one Platinum Games character can make it into Smash, why can't another? Will Wedgwood, aka Wonder Red, would fit into Smash Bros. Perfectly. For standard attacks, you know, things would be pretty simple. He punches just like anybody else you would expect. But the whole appeal of the gameplay from the source game is being able to harness special moves from other combat types at the flick of a switch with a technique called Unite Morph. From guns to whips, tossing bombs, slowing down time, there is so much that he could do that would make him a very unique fighter. The same goes for the final Smash too. There are honestly too many options to pick, many of which could potentially be spoilers, I don't know. But as long as it ends with an epic 3-time zoom in front of an explosion, then I think we're okay. This one sort of falls in line with my thinking for some of the other entries on this list. Finding a character from a franchise that is long overdue for a new fighter. So, K. Rool from Donkey Kong would be perfect. He has been highly requested for years. Not even just in Smash, in the Donkey Kong Country games too. Come on, Retro, what are you doing? What makes the concept of K. Rool in Smash such an exciting idea, aside from actually getting a DK antagonist into the game, is there are multiple portrayals of his character that the developers can pull from. He always had a bit of a multiple personality disorder, so he can go ahead and use crowns as a weapon from his time as a king. He can rock his cannonball gun for more long-range attacks. He can fly around in his copter creation from when he was a weird scientist, and also put on some gloves for hand-to-hand combat too. I'm really not sure what's keeping the developers, Retro included, from getting a spotlight on him sooner. But now, it's finally time, as long as he doesn't wear what he wore in Mario Baseball. That was just a bit weird looking. Dillon's Rolling Western is quite an underrated series on the 3DS's eShop. Those who have played it will probably agree that Dillon would be a great character that would fit in great as a fighter rather than an assist trophy. However, those who haven't played it far outnumber those who did. Dillon really has all of the tools ready to be a great fighter. His moveset is simple, but varied enough to basically just be a slower and harder hitting Sonic. The design of him is pretty great, honestly, especially in his new game with the nice new leather jacket. And let's be honest here, if you've heard it, he's got a pretty good theme song too. And with the whole theme of his game being placing up towers to avoid these rock monsters from attacking the main village, that could make for a really cool stage as well. There aren't many valid contenders for a new Smash fighter that had their debuts on the 3DS. So, as a character that represents that generation, I think Dillon would get that job done. Years ago, before Smash 4 got released, there was a lot of hype and requests for Shulk to show up as a fighter. And he did. And since then, we got a bit of a direct sequel with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, starring the new chosen hero, Rex. And while he does, from the outside looking in, appear somewhat similar to Xenoblade 1's hero, Rex would actually play quite a bit differently, despite being yet another sword user. There is that. And that is due to being partnered with Pyra, a sort of like personified blade that helps power up Rex's attacks with a fire element. Trust me, it makes a whole lot more sense in the game's context. Essentially, Rex would be a sword user with unique moves and a heavy emphasis on fire. I think similar to why I wanted Shulk in Smash 4, I kinda just want Xenoblade 2 to get some love. And since he can't be a direct clone of Shulk, and he is an actual fully fleshed out character, compared to anything that we got in Xenoblade X, Rex would fit in with the group perfectly. One of the best parts of Smash is the ability to take characters that you couldn't see coming and make them fit in as if they would have made sense the entire time. Really? The trainer from Wii Fit? What the? Oh, okay. Rhythm Heaven is a series of rhythm-based minigames, with each one having a very wacky scenario. It's pretty great. The rumor mill back during Smash 4's hype was all about the chorus kids. And they would be great and all, don't get me wrong, but Karate Joe just makes a whole lot more sense. He's kind of the series' main mascot, if anything. He shows up with basically the same minigame in every single main game. He already punches and kicks, that much is obvious, but guaranteed they would be able to pull moves and characters from the series' entire history. Swinging a golf club, tossing onions, definitely using a monkey to some capacity, they just have to do that. In fact, a little plug here, the guy who made my avatar created a conceptual moveset video for him, and after watching this, I'm gonna be upset if he doesn't make it into the game. Now this has just been a personal desire of mine for quite a number of years, but I really like Star Tropics, and I have been hoping for a new game in the series for a long time, and I feel that hype for that new game could kick off similarly to how it was for Kid Icarus, by bringing Pit into Smash. So, quite simply, bring Mike Jones into Smash. He would be a pretty good fit. Essentially, he would just jump around and toss yo-yos and ninja stars all over the place, but in a shocking turn of events, this is my clever, creative Smash moveset mind coming into play here, they could technically make a fighter out of Tetris too. The whole point of the second Star Tropics game is to collect Tetris pieces. So, why not make them part of the moveset? So personally, the hype would be there just to see Mike Jones in Smash, but it would more so be there to see Nintendo acknowledge the series' existence again. That would just be nice. The Mario franchise clearly has a ton of characters that could be valid fighters in Smash, but when it comes to main series characters, I think we already have our fill. So I say it's time to pull from a spin-off. Regardless of how you feel about the Paper Mario series as of late, if handled correctly, pulling moves and references from the entire history of the series, Paper Mario could be an excellent and incredibly unique new fighter. For core essentials, he would have the hammer for attacks, as well as different paper crafts for forms of traversal. And then we could also get moves that get pulled from sources like the Star Spirits. You got a bunch of different items that you can use too, like the Sleepy Sheep. And there could even be some paint-based moves that come from Color Splash. I really like the Paper Mario series, you guys, except for the one. So I think it'd be really cool to see him in Smash. I think maybe some of the things that I've said in this video so far you may not agree with, and that's fine, but I think that my Paper Mario idea is far from terrible. You know, because it's like paper, you tear, that's the only pun when it comes to paper, that's all I got. Okay, so, hear me out for a second. Hear me out for a second! There was once a time where this idea was nothing but a pure childhood fantasy, but boy, times have certainly changed. It is crazy for me to be saying this, but Crash Bandicoot is now more relevant than he has been in a long time, and with the remaster trilogy coming to Switch, we are seeing this orange marsupial have his main games on a Nintendo console. That is crazy. And you gotta remember that Cloud made his way into Smash too, and that was previously seen as completely unthinkable. I think Crash's moveset would be fairly straightforward, spinning, sliding, using Aku Aku, but I think just for the pure shock value, similar to the likes of Cloud, Bayonetta, and Ryu coming to Smash, and despite the heyday for this series not being on Nintendo, the significance of Crash to Nintendo's history is still there, and I think he would be a great addition. So yeah, those are my 10 characters. If there are any characters that you want to see in Smash that weren't in my list, go ahead in the comments below and share them. I'd love to see what you have to say. Just please, one humble request from yours truly, don't genuinely believe that Goku or Shrek have a chance to show up in Smash. I really don't think my heart can handle another hype train with those two constantly plaguing my vision again. Please.